my crafty friends, it's Andrea from Prairie Sky Paper Craft, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Manitoba. So I was hemming and hawing about an idea for today. Really having a hard time settling on what exactly it is that I wanted to do, because really I had no idea. So I started to stare at what was around me and I kind of let my mind wander. I settled upon Forever Fern, and we're going to be stamping in a few different colors. I've got Basic Gray, Cajun Craze, Granny Apple Green, and Versamark. I also pulled out some embossing powder because it's been forever since it feels like we've done that. So I've got my block, I've got our stamp set, I've got a little Stampin' Spot that comes with Paper Pumpkin. I'm not sure if we're going to incorporate Blackberry Bliss. We'll see as we progress. And I decided to pull out some craft paper today. It's been forever, again, since I've crafted, get it, with craft paper. Let's see, I think we're going to do that one, we're going to do that one, and what else are we going to do? Maybe this. I like the way that it kind of wanders, and that one. Okay, those are the stamps that we're using today. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of go with it and see where we end up. I'm going to start with my Granny Apple Green, and we'll do this guy in Granny Apple. Put my card base off to the side. So I'm just going to do some random stamping. We're kind of making our own designer series paper here, and remember it's tap, tap, tap with our ink. Now there's not going to be much of a rhyme or reason with this. I'm just going to kind of go with whatever looks good. Grab our simple chamois. Now all you need to do is run it under water, get it nice and damp, and it'll last for many, many, many cleans before it needs to be rinsed off. And then when you rinse it off, the water will run clear. If you want to, you can always add a little bit of soap. You can put it through your washing machine, not the dryer, and then get it good and sparkly for the next time. I've actually never put mine through the washing machine. I just use it with the, I just clean it in my kitchen. I'm going to do one this way. And then our last one, I should close an ink pad or two before we end up with a disaster. I really like the way it looks when you stamp on craft paper too. It's a bit of a different look. It's a little bit more natural, I think. I think I am going to pull in Blackberry Bliss, actually. Okay, Basic Gray. It's going to be our bigger one. Oh my goodness, I don't know if you can hear, but my dogs have just started to bark. They're losing their minds about something. No idea what. We'll do one little bit right here. Where are we going to put that one? Maybe here, kind of overlapping. Okay, this cleaned. And yeah, I think I do want to bring in a little bit of blackberry. So all I'm going to do before I do any heat embossing, I'm just going to take our spot and go around the edge just to kind of give it a little bit of color and interest. You can do this with a regular size ink pad as well. I'm just kind of rubbing it, flicking it. Some areas are going to have a little bit more coverage than others. Actually, I like that a little bit better. Give it a little bit more coverage. Now I'm barely touching the ink to the paper. I'm just sort of very gently, like no more than I would if I was going to drop it onto my work surface. Adding a little bit of color around the edge. And if you want to go back and do it darker in some spots, absolutely. Yeah, I think that I don't want to get too carried away. Just a little bit. There we go. And find the lid for that. Just going to blend the ink. It's not wet, it's just damp. Just going to blend it just a tiny little bit with a wet wipe. And then before I heat emboss it, I'm going to give it a blast just to make sure that the ink is dry with my heat gun. Otherwise, my embossing powder is going to stick everywhere. All right, now fingers crossed. This should be good enough. Oh, I thought I had my embossing buddy right close, but I don't, so that's all right. This is a bit of a distressed looked card anyway, so it is fine. So we're just going to take our little splotch pieces and we're going to randomly stamp in Versamark, which is a tone on tone. It dries really slowly too, so it's perfect for heat embossing. I'm not going to do a ton in the center because that's where I want my sentiment to be. And then when you're done and you apply your embossing powder, if you're not content with how your, this is gold by the way, where your embossing powder has hit, you can always go back and add some more. Usually I have a little bit bigger of a container. There we go. So we're just going to run it and get embossing powder everywhere. It's all right. Not the end of the world. That's why I have Swiffer cloths and a handheld vacuum in here. Okay. So we're going to tap off the excess. Okay, so I do have a little bit more around the edge than what I want. There we go. I'm going to a bit more of a tap. Push that off to the side. I'll clean that up later. So I just want a little bit of shimmer and shine with this. I'm not going to add a ton. So we're going to heat up. And you can see as the embossing powder is melting, you're going to be able to see the tone. So if it still looks dull, just give it a little bit more heat. But you do want to keep your heat gun moving, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to get, or if you don't keep it moving, you could scorch the paper. All right, so there's just a little bit of sparkle. Oops. Now the sun's gone behind a cloud, so we're not going to be able to see it as well. But you can see that there's a nice little bit of shine with our card, and you can feel that all of the embossing powder is melted. If you wanted to add a few more spots, you could absolutely do that. Just grab your Versamark and your excuse me, your Versamark and your embossing powder and do another round. What sentiment are we going to put on here today? Let's see. I think we need something a little bit bigger. Love and laughter forever after. It doesn't really fit this card. Let's see, what else have we got? You know what? I've got a retired stamp set here that I've had for a while. We'll make a sympathy card today. So we'll get our With Sympathy. The retired set that I'm using is Special Moments. It was a free set with Celebration a few years ago. And we'll just do With Sympathy right there. Put our stamp back in the case after we wipe it. Close our ink pad. There we go. Embossing powder everywhere, but it's fine. That's why I like to have my stuff in a little bit bigger container, but that's the one I grabbed today, so that's the one we're using. All right. Oh, paper scraps everywhere. I am going to be, actually, Scrap Camp runs August 15th to 19th. It's a 5-day camp. If you're interested, the information is down below. It's all about stash busting. It is a self-paced week-long class. There's going to be so much stuff. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. And even if it is past that date and that's something that you might be interested in, by all means, please ask. I'll be happy to share the link with you. Okay, so there's our card. I do need to go back and trim a little bit. Card base was just slightly bigger than my piece. Oops. There we go. Oops. Perfect fit. All right, so there you go. A little bit of heat embossing, a little bit of a layering. Create your own background with the stamps that you have and love. As always, I really appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. The link is down below if you would like to follow me on my VIP page or my Facebook page. And as always, don't forget to hit subscribe and that little bell icon so that you're notified every single time a brand new video goes live. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you soon.